In a significant shift in U.S. foreign policy, newly confirmed Secretary of State Marco Rubio has outlined a series of changes that signal a departure from the previous administration's approaches. In a welcome address to State Department employees, Rubio articulated his vision for U.S. diplomacy under the Trump administration, emphasizing a focus on pragmatism over ideology and a commitment to countering perceived threats from adversarial nations, particularly China. One of the most notable changes Rubio announced is the termination of State Department programs that he believes open the door to censorship. This decision reverses initiatives from the Biden administration aimed at combating disinformation, particularly through the now-defunct Global Engagement Center (GEC). Rubio expressed his intent to eliminate any programs that could lead to the suppression of free speech among American citizens. "Every dollar we spend, every program we fund, and every policy we pursue must be justified with the answer to three simple questions. Does it make the country safer, stronger, and more prosperous?" he stated. Rubio's commitment to free speech comes amid heightened scrutiny of U.S. governmental programs perceived as censoring dissenting voices, particularly in the context of COVID-19 disinformation. His remarks echo a broader sentiment among congressional Republicans who have criticized past administration efforts that they argue infringed upon constitutional rights. In a separate development, Rubio's recent communication with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi hints at the complexities of U.S.-China relations moving forward. Following Rubio's confirmation, Wang issued a veiled warning advising him to act accordingly, a phrase laden with cultural nuance often used to signal expectations of responsible behavior. This warning likely reflects China's apprehensions regarding Rubio's past criticisms of its human rights record and the sanctions imposed on him in 2020 for his outspoken views. During their initial conversation, Rubio reiterated the Trump administration's commitment to advancing U.S. interests and expressed concerns about China's aggressive actions in the South China Sea and its stance on Taiwan. The Chinese government's willingness to engage with Rubio contrasts sharply with its previous sanctions, which included travel bans, leaving observers to wonder whether diplomatic avenues will remain open despite underlying tensions. Moreover, Rubio's agenda includes a re-evaluation of U.S. foreign policy strategies. He has signaled an intention to halt policies that promote mass migration and to refocus efforts on strengthening alliances while countering adversarial activities. Far too much of America's diplomacy is focused on pushing political and cultural causes that are divisive at home and deeply unpopular abroad, he remarked, emphasizing a renewed focus on pragmatic foreign relations. As the U.S. navigates an increasingly complex international landscape characterized by great power rivalry, Rubio's approach will likely shape the future of American diplomacy. The implications of his policies, particularly concerning China and foreign information manipulation, will be closely monitored as global dynamics continue to evolve. With a firm stance on free speech and a clear agenda for U.S. foreign relations, Rubio's tenure as Secretary of State is poised to redefine America's diplomatic narrative in significant ways. In a significant shift in U.S. defense leadership, Pete Hegseth has officially assumed the role of Secretary of Defense following a narrow Senate confirmation that reflects both the polarized political landscape and the contentious nature of his nomination. Sworn in by Vice President J.D. Vance on January 25, 2025, Hegseth becomes the 29th individual to hold this crucial position, stepping into a complex web of challenges that threaten to define his tenure. The Senate's late-night vote, which broke down to a tense 51-50, showcased the deep divides within the body, with Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. This marked only the second time a vice president has intervened in such a manner for a cabinet nominee. Hegseth's confirmation came amid a backdrop of serious allegations regarding his conduct, including accusations of sexual assault and financial mismanagement, all of which he has vehemently denied. President Trump, who has been a staunch supporter, hailed Hegseth as a great secretary, emphasizing the need for a strong defense posture. Hegseth's confirmation hearing revealed his commitment to reshaping the culture within the Department of Defense (DoD). He stressed the importance of reinstating a warrior culture that prioritizes military readiness, meritocracy, and accountability. When President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense, Hegseth stated. This perspective aligns with Trump's broader vision for revitalizing the military, especially in light of the ongoing global conflicts and national security challenges. Among the immediate tasks awaiting Hegseth are critical decisions regarding U.S. military presence along the southern border, a top priority for the Trump administration. He faces the daunting task of evaluating the operational role of active duty forces in law enforcement, a sensitive issue given the constraints of the Posse Comitatus Act. Hegseth's approach to this issue will likely set the tone for future military-civilian interactions. Additionally, Hegseth must navigate complex geopolitical challenges, including the situation in Ukraine and the continuing conflicts in the Middle East. The Pentagon's budget, currently approximately $850 billion, will require careful management as Hegseth aims to cut waste while simultaneously enhancing military lethality. His decisions will be scrutinized, particularly concerning ongoing U.S. support for Ukraine amid a foreign aid freeze instituted by the State Department. The new Secretary of Defense has also signaled a departure from diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives within the DoD. Following Trump's executive order to dismantle such programs across federal agencies, Hegseth has made it clear that there will be no exceptions to this directive, asserting that the Pentagon will comply immediately with the order. This move has already sparked discussions about its implications for military culture and personnel policies, especially regarding the treatment of transgender service members, a topic that remains contentious. As Hegseth begins his tenure, he will need to address the diverse and pressing issues facing the military while also responding to the internal and external criticisms that come with his controversial appointment. The Pentagon is poised for a period of significant change, and how Hegseth manages these initial challenges will likely shape his legacy as Secretary of Defense. In conclusion, with Hegseth at the helm, the DoD is set to embark on a new era marked by a strong emphasis on military readiness and a re-evaluation of cultural policies. As he engages with military leaders and grapples with the multifaceted challenges ahead, observers will be keenly watching to see how his leadership will influence the direction of U.S. defense strategy in an increasingly complex global landscape. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a name synonymous with American political legacy, is once again in the spotlight as he vies for the role of Secretary of Health and Human Services under President Donald Trump. This nomination comes with a host of complexities given Kennedy's controversial views on vaccines, food safety, and reproductive rights, which have drawn both fervent support and vehement opposition. As he prepares to face confirmation hearings, the implications of his appointment could reverberate throughout the nation's health policy landscape. Kennedy, the son of Robert F. Kennedy and nephew of President John F. Kennedy, has built a public persona that is as much about his storied lineage as it is about his polarizing opinions. Over the years, he has become a prominent figure in the anti-vaccine movement, claiming that vaccines are unsafe, a stance that has alienated many in the Democratic Party, including some within his own family. However, in a strategic shift, Kennedy has sought to align himself more closely with conservative values since supporting Trump's presidential campaign. His slogan, "Make America Healthy Again," signals a commitment to reforming health policies, albeit through a lens that remains contentious. The stakes are high for Kennedy as he approaches his confirmation hearings this week, with the Republican-controlled Senate poised to scrutinize his fitness for the position. The position of Secretary of Health and Human Services oversees a vast $1.7 trillion budget that governs health insurance, food safety, and vaccine recommendations. However, Kennedy's past statements and activities, particularly his anti-vaccine campaigns, are expected to be focal points of contention. Critics argue that his advocacy against vaccines has had dire consequences, citing a measles epidemic in Samoa that followed his involvement there. In 2018, the deaths of 2 children from botched vaccinations led to the suspension of the country's vaccination program. Many believe Kennedy's presence in Samoa contributed to a widespread fear of vaccinations, a claim he has vehemently denied. As Democratic lawmakers prepare to challenge his nomination, they are expected to spotlight these incidents to bolster their case against him. Moreover, Kennedy's views on abortion further complicate his nomination. While he has expressed support for abortion access in the past, his recent comments suggesting it should be legal for full-term pregnancies have drawn criticism from conservative factions. Despite efforts to reassure Republican senators of his commitment to anti-abortion policies, skepticism persists. Former Vice President Mike Pence has actively campaigned against Kennedy, asserting that his views do not align with the pro-life stance of many conservatives. Agricultural policies are yet another area of concern for Kennedy's potential confirmation. His proposals to ban corn syrup and pesticides have raised alarms among farmers in the Midwest, who fear such measures could devastate rural economies. While some, like Republican Senator Ron Johnson, see Kennedy's health agenda as a positive vision for America, others, such as Iowa farmer Brian Fire, are apprehensive about the impact of such sweeping changes on the food supply. As the confirmation process unfolds, Kennedy's dual legacy as a member of a political dynasty and a divisive health advocate will collide. His celebrity status may provide him with a platform that few nominees possess, yet it also comes with a spotlight that could amplify his past missteps. Those close to him, like advisor Callie Means, assert that Kennedy brings a unique perspective to public health, a perspective that is desperately needed. Looking ahead, the outcome of Kennedy's nomination will not only shape the future of the Department of Health and Human Services, but could also set precedents for how health policy is navigated in an era marked by such polarized views. As the nation watches, the question remains whether Kennedy can reconcile his past with the demands of his potential future role in shaping America's health policies. In a politically charged atmosphere, the nomination of Pam Bondi for the role of U.S. Attorney General has ignited a fierce exchange between Senate Democrats and the former Florida Attorney General. The confirmation hearing held on January 16, 2025 showcased Bondi's confrontational style, particularly during her interactions with prominent Democratic senators like Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla. As she defended her record and answered pointed questions regarding her loyalty to Donald Trump, the stakes were high, not just for her future in the administration but also for the broader implications of Trump's influence on the Republican Party. Senator Padilla opened the questioning with a focus on Bondi's controversial statements during the aftermath of the 2020 election. Padilla pressed her on claims of election fraud, particularly regarding her visit to Pennsylvania, where she, alongside Rudy Giuliani, had proclaimed that Republicans had won Pennsylvania. Bondi, asserting her right to respond, stated, "I'm not going to be bullied by you, Senator Padilla," reflecting the high tension of the meeting. This exchange set the tone for a hearing characterized by interruptions and a combative back-and-forth, illustrating the deep divisions over the integrity of the electoral process. The confrontation escalated when Schiff, a central figure in Trump's impeachment trials, questioned Bondi's independence and her ability to reject requests from the former president. Notably, Schiff asked whether she would investigate former special counsel Jack Smith, to which Bondi retorted, "It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment." Schiff's relentless questioning about Trump's influence and her potential role in investigating January 6 rioters further underscored the complex relationship between Bondi and the former president. As Bondi navigated the treacherous waters of Senate scrutiny, GOP lawmakers expressed their own discontent regarding Trump's evolving alliances, particularly with tech giants who once faced his ire. Following Trump's inauguration, some Republican senators voiced concerns about his kitchen cabinet of billionaire allies, including Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Sundar Pichai. They noted the irony of these figures, once vilified during Trump's first term, now seeking proximity to the administration. Senator Kevin Cramer articulated a sentiment shared by many, lamenting the absence of working-class representatives during the inauguration, stating, "I was thinking that it would be nice to have some firefighters and soup kitchen operators." Trump's recent executive order to suspend the TikTok ban, which had previously garnered significant Republican support, further fueled skepticism among GOP ranks.
Lawmakers worried that the tech mogul's attempts to curry favor with Trump might undermine past efforts to impose stricter regulations on their platforms.
Senator Tom Cotton issued a stark warning about the potential consequences for companies involved with TikTok, emphasizing national security concerns. As the confirmation hearing and subsequent political maneuvering unfold, Bondi's nomination appears to be moving forward without significant opposition. However, the underlying tensions within the GOP reveal a party grappling with its identity and the implications of Trump's return to power. With the confirmation process set to continue, the broader questions of loyalty, independence, and the future direction of the Republican Party remain at the forefront. Looking ahead, the dynamics of Trump's influence on the GOP and the implications of Bondi's confirmation will likely shape not only the administration's policies but also the party's electoral strategies as it prepares for upcoming challenges. The intricate dance between established party lines and the shifting allegiances within the political landscape promises to make the next few months a critical period for both the administration and the Republican Party at large. As the political landscape continues to shift in 2025, the Senate is taking center stage in the confirmation of President Donald Trump's cabinet nominees, while the House of Representatives shifts its focus to a strategic retreat at Trump National Doral in Miami. This juxtaposition highlights the ongoing tensions and strategies within the Republican Party as it navigates the complexities of governance and party unity. This week, the Senate is poised to confirm key nominations, starting with Scott Bessent, who is set to become the next Secretary of the Treasury. The Senate voted on Saturday to advance Bessent's nomination with strong bipartisan support, culminating in a scheduled final vote on Monday evening. Bessent, a billionaire hedge fund manager and significant donor to Trump's campaign, is anticipated to play a pivotal role in shaping the administration's economic policies, including the extension of tax cuts and management of the national debt.
So my expectation is,
these are very capable people, very qualified for these jobs, and I'm hoping that the Democrats recognize that, stated Senate Majority Leader John Thune, emphasizing the need for bipartisan cooperation. While the Senate engages in substantive legislative work, including confirmation votes for other nominees like former Representative Sean P. Duffy for Secretary of Transportation, the House GOP is gathering at Trump's Miami Golf Club. The annual Issues and Strategy Conference is a critical moment for House Republicans to align on their agenda, particularly regarding a filibuster-proof budget reconciliation package aimed at implementing Trump's immigration and tax policies. Trump himself is expected to address the gathering, further solidifying his influence over the party's direction. The starkly different activities of the two chambers reflect a broader strategy within the Republican Party. As House Republicans huddle to discuss their next steps, senators are moving forward with confirmation hearings for several contentious appointments, including Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Gabbard's nomination has drawn scrutiny regarding her foreign policy views, while Kennedy's controversial stance on vaccines and public health has raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. Senator Lindsey Graham expressed his hesitance to support Gabbard until he could better gauge her responses during the confirmation hearings, highlighting the deep divisions within the party regarding foreign policy. "I want to see how the hearing goes," Graham remarked, emphasizing the importance of addressing difficult questions surrounding Gabbard's past actions and statements. Additionally, the Senate is set to tackle legislative issues, including a House-passed bill to sanction the International Criminal Court in response to an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. As the Senate continues to process various nominations and bills, there is a palpable sense of urgency in addressing the administration's priorities amidst a backdrop of political maneuvering. The coming days will be pivotal as key confirmations unfold and the House GOP solidifies its agenda. With the Senate poised to confirm several more of Trump's nominees, including Kristi Noem as Secretary of Homeland Security and Kash Patel as FBI Director, the dynamics of the Trump administration's second term are becoming clearer. The interplay between the Senate's legislative actions and the House's strategic alignments may set the tone for the Republican Party as it seeks to navigate the complex landscape ahead. as the political climate evolves. Observers will be keenly watching how these developments influence not only the immediate legislative agenda but also the broader trajectory of the Republican Party. The interplay between party unity and individual ambitions will continue to shape the discourse in Washington, suggesting that the coming weeks will be critical for both Congress and the Trump administration as they confront the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
President Donald Trump has announced a significant presidential delegation destined for Poland tasked with attending the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau. This historic occasion, which honors the memory of the millions who suffered during the Holocaust, underscores a commitment to remembrance and reflection in a world still grappling with the implications of its past. In a statement made by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, it was revealed that U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff, alongside Howard Lutnick, Trump's nominee for Secretary of Commerce, will lead the delegation.
The choice of Lutnick is particularly noteworthy as he is set to undergo a confirmation hearing shortly where he is expected to face inquiries regarding his extensive financial background as the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Despite any potential scrutiny surrounding his financial dealings, Lutnick's participation in this delegation signifies a broader political and social engagement that extends beyond domestic policy. The commemoration at Auschwitz-Birkenau is not only a poignant reminder of historical atrocities but also serves as a platform for contemporary discussions surrounding anti-Semitism, human rights, and global tolerance. As Lutnick prepares for his confirmation, it remains to be seen how his involvement in such a significant event will influence perceptions of his candidacy and his approach to the Commerce Department, particularly in relation to tech policies that are expected to be a focus of upcoming hearings. The political landscape is currently charged with various key figures, including House Speaker Mike Johnson and President Trump himself convening at a GOP conference in Miami to strategize on legislation concerning taxes, immigration, and energy. The meeting reflects an ongoing effort to solidify Trump's policy agenda, with party leaders rallying around shared objectives. Looking ahead, the implications of these developments are multifaceted. The upcoming confirmation of Lutnick, coupled with the commemorative delegation to Poland, highlights a critical intersection of remembrance and political maneuvering. As the administration continues to navigate its policy priorities, the impact of this delegation on international relations and domestic governance will be closely watched, particularly in how it may shape future discussions on human rights and historical accountability in the context of modern governance.
In the coming weeks,
all eyes will be on Lutnick's confirmation hearing and how the insights gained from the Auschwitz commemoration could influence the administration's approach to both domestic and international policy challenges. With such significant historical weight behind these events, the potential for fostering a renewed dialogue about the past and its lessons for the future is both a responsibility and an opportunity for the current administration.